Again. Again. Once again.
Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs, welcome back to Decidedly Vanilla. I hope you guys enjoyed the time-lapse we kicked off this episode with, and welcome to the archive. This is going to be the storage facility for the museum, as you can probably guess from the fact that it is so freaking huge. I don't think I will even use half of these chests in the server's lifetime, especially considering I'm also putting chests up here in the little stained clay coloured alcoves. But I really like how this place came together. Had a bit of help digging this out. A certain Russian server member came and helped me dig out the room itself, and then I started decorating it a couple of days ago, and I've been working on it kind of when I have time, which is why you haven't seen many Minecraft episodes from me. I know I keep renewing my promise to get episodes out more frequently, but life keeps getting in the way, and big projects like this take time, especially when I have, you know, a job that I should be doing and things. So hopefully you guys will be seeing a few more Minecraft episodes popping up here and there. I've now cut down the amount of indie games I'm playing from 2 to 1. Now that Owlboy and Undertale are finished, we have started Fez. I'm loving Fez, by the way. Fez is pretty awesome. So maybe some more Minecraft content will be popping up here and there, and I have a lot of stuff that I can be doing in this place. First of all, the building itself is not even finished. You guys have probably noticed there's a ladder up to the surface, and I'll show you exactly where this comes out, because this is kind of my bat cave. I kind of wish there was a pole I could slide down to get down here right now, but oh look, our friends have decided to join us in the Great Hall of the museum. Hello, skeletons. Hopefully going to avoid knocking any... Who is constantly getting put out from being on fire? Like, is there a zombie out here who keeps burning up in the sunlight? I've no idea. Hopefully it's nobody in my mob exhibit. I don't think it is. But anyway, yeah, there's a zombie around here somewhere who just will not die. But I do need to do a better job about lighting up the... Oh, nailed him from a distance. Good work. About lighting up the more dark and recessed portions of the museum. There are already enough unsightly torches around the place that I want to replace with actual lighting at some point. The end rods are kind of an acceptable compromise around here, especially considering that the display in the center is end-themed, but, you know, they just kind of stick out and make the place look a little bit... Seriously, where are you? Are you in the walls? Are you on the bridge? I don't... I'm going to have to do a bit of detective work here. What's going on? I think he's inside this bit. I've done I've done a little bit more work around here. Let me quickly show you what I've done recently. This is a small room that I wasn't entirely sure what to do with. So what I've done is I've made it an exhibit about dimensions, because some of the stuff that's on display in the mob hall is like this mob appears in the overworld, but it can also turn up in the nether and the end, and that's specifically about Enderman, but there are a couple of others that do similar things. And so this room is going to have a little bit more information eventually. I've kind of put signs up here as a kind of placeholder, but this is going to be an exhibit on the dimensions. First, you've got the overworld. Obviously, you go through a nether portal. You've got the nether, and with magma blocks and lava placed so that you can't actually walk onto them, because we wouldn't want the guests to get hot feet or anything. And then, last of all, the end itself. And I still need to kind of tidy up the borders, put a roof on this room, kind of give it a little bit more signage to explain what's going on here. But that is the idea. And then, once you walk on into the mob exhibit, you get to see how those dimensions affect the array of mobs that are in here. The witch and the rabbit are hanging out in there. I can't remember if there's any new arrivals since I last showed you around here, but I'm guessing not. I think we still need to figure out a couple of the exhibits that are going to be coming into play. The zombie exhibit is coming along a bit more of a roof going on here, and I managed to trap this guy, the armored zombie, Zombicus Protecticus, in a corner. I've also added this little exhibit here that's about curing zombie villagers. Not suggesting that anybody cures this zombie villager in particular. Hopefully they don't, because I've name tagged him and he's meant to be a zombie. But I suppose we could always infect him again by reintroducing him to the local zombie population if we needed to. But I thought it was kind of nice to have like a little informational section about potion brewing, just to say that zombies could be cured with a weakness potion and a gold apple, which I've marked display only, so hopefully nobody decides to rip it from the wall. Not sure why they would. We have a gold farm and apples are kind of plentiful, but you never know. So anyway, all that is a bit of a preamble to say that this room down here is currently only accessible from the main hall of the museum underneath one of the trapdoors in the far corner, and yes, it's still not particularly well lit. There are still a few torches around here that we need to eliminate. But I've got a lot of redstone lighting in here, and I think that's all going okay so far. I've never really figured out if there's a better way to light redstone stuff other than having like torches or a redstone block nearby. If there's a better way to light them up than using those levers. And if there is, let me know in the comments, because I'm never quite sure if it looks too weird just to have switches on everything, but I can't think of another way of doing it beyond redstoneifying some of this stuff, and in this setup it would probably leave the redstone kind of exposed. But I quite like the way the supporting pillars came together. I'm saving this space here for when terracotta blocks come around, when the server actually updates to 1.12, whenever that's released. Goodness knows at this point. They've been delaying snapshots a little bit as well, so I'm not sure what's happening there, but I think a terracotta sort of tile thing is going to go in the middle here, make it look a little bit more fancy, and I'm still not sure about what I'm doing with this back wall, considering that when I dug this out and kind of planned out the pillars and stuff, I wasn't going for any particular number, but it just so happened that there were 8 little bays on one side and 8 bays on the other side, making a total of 16, which is a pretty important number in Minecraft, and exactly the amount of colours of stained hardened clay there are. So I was considering even waiting to do this with concrete, but I figured stained clay will do for now, and then we could always swap it out for concrete if we wanted to, or even use concrete somewhere else in this structure, you never know. But one of the things I still have yet to do, one of the biggest tasks of all really, is going to be the roof. Or the ceiling, rather. I suppose it's a roof if it's on the outside, a ceiling if it's on the inside. So the ceiling is going to be probably mostly stairs, which is going to take a lot of very, very careful placement of blocks. So we're probably going to do that on another time-lapse for you in this episode. And down here on the floor, I wanted this to be like a museum archive, or like a kind of research room, I guess. It's almost like a combination of a lab and a kind of museum storage. So there's going to be tables and stuff in here. It's going to be a little bit of fairly minimalist interior decoration, but I wanted to have a couple of tables with little lamps on and stuff, partly to obscure the fact that I need to put torches everywhere to light stuff, and so I could have like a couple of little decorative lamps around here, that kind of thing, and also just like to make it look like there is research going on in this room, so it isn't just like make it more of a glorified storage thing than just a basic room with a bunch of chests in. So that's the idea, and I still don't know how I'm going to classify any of this, exactly where the items are going to go once they're put up here. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out as we go along. Right now I've got a lot of stone and stuff stored in here because, goodness me, I dug out a lot of stone from this room, and I needed it as well because I have some plans to build a lot more of the structure of the museum in the days to come, and we needed a heck of a lot of smooth stone. There's still some chests up there from where we kind of started digging and made chests to store everything. So that one's still mostly full of cobble. That one's got various miscellaneous bits in. It all needs a little bit of tidying up, and I don't know where the shulker boxes are going to go right now. Maybe we'll have one next to each bay, and they'll kind of they'll be represented by each of the colours along the way, something like that. I'm not sure, you guys, I'm not sure, but very excited for what potential this room has, and if anybody ever wants to donate anything in a large scale to the museum, then it's going to come straight down here, and people are going to be able to drop off blocks and stuff for building exhibits if they want to. It could also be a staging area for trying out new stuff, or for archiving old projects that we've moved from the main museum down into here, but were too good just to, you know, completely dismantle. I don't know. Early days for the archive, but I thought I would introduce the concept to you guys. Also, really happy with the way I decorated this nether portal. I don't tend to go in for fancy nether portals all that often, and this isn't even all that fancy, but it's fancy for me. It isn't linked to anything yet. I haven't set up the equivalent portal in the nether, so that will probably just lead to one of the other portals around the museum, which is not such a bad idea, but I kind of want to match it with a portal in the nether to make sure I can come straight down here if I want to. But lots to do. We will get on with a time lapse in just a moment. Still not sure what we want to do with this back wall around here. We got a bit of time to think about this stuff, though. We got a bit of time to think. I'm also going to be working on a couple of projects with generated structures, which seems to be mostly what I've built up on the surface so far. I've built the Great Hall, and I've built a mob exhibit, and the main thing I've really done is the model village, as I call it, the giant kind of reconstruction of a village out here. I've been hoping to get a couple of my server mates involved with building some other generated structures. I suppose we have the mineshaft exhibit as well, which counts as one of those, and we should probably do an exhibit on strongholds, but next up is going to be a desert temple and a jungle temple, and those are probably going to be pretty big projects, not nearly as big as if we want to recreate an entire ocean monument, because that's going to take an awful lot of blocks. Probably need to dismantle an entire ocean monument and rebuild it here, which is going to be a heck of a project at some point, but maybe that will happen. And as for the woodland mansion, they're just too big for the museum, in my opinion. So what I was thinking of doing instead was making a large-ish hall where we can exhibit like example rooms from the woodland mansion, because a lot of the stuff in the mansions just is repetitive. It's just kind of the same thing generating in a different order. So maybe we can just do a couple of example rooms and then leave people to go and find a mansion for themselves. But I want to do a couple of field trips so that we can actually get some ideas for that kind of stuff. And heading out to my own woodland mansion is probably on the list of things to do in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, we're going to wrap things up a little bit here and go ahead with the time lapse of the ceiling. So let's get on with that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. How we doing, folks? Welcome back. Quick update on the archive room. I've put some desks in mainly to light up the area, as I was mentioning before. We've got a couple of torches hidden in these lamps, one of which is a wither skull because I ran out of leather helmets, but I'll probably dig up a couple more, retrieve that wither skull, and do some other stuff with it. Likewise, this desk here, the main sort of central desk of the area, which I think is like going to be the head archivist's desk or something like that, needs a gold helmet for the lamp, I think. So that's kind of going to be a status thing, going to prove that he is the top dog around here. And I was experimenting with the glitch that people have discovered a while back, which was the ability to put shields on armor stands with a dispenser. And I feel like if the armor stand was like square on with the edge of the table, it'd still kind of overlap the side a little bit, but it might look kind of cool. It might give a little bit of paneling to the side of these desks. So I'm going to experiment with that a little bit in creative, but we will see how that works out, and maybe we will be able to add a little bit more to these desks in the near future. But that's going to be it for today's episode. We've got most of the roof done, as you saw in the time-lapse. The time-lapse was kind of difficult to do because I was on dirt bridges the entire time, so you can't exactly see what I'm doing all the time, but hopefully it gave you some sort of impression of the work that was going on here. It took a long time, probably took about an hour and a half, so that's an hour and a half's worth of footage you're seeing with Zloy logging in and out occasionally. But here we are in the archive. This is going to be a fantastic asset for the museum. I have a feeling that we're going to be filling up these chests a little bit over the days to come, and hopefully you'll see me harvesting some resources with a few of my friends on the DV server a little more often, having a bit of a chat and working on some new projects in the weeks to come. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching Decidedly Vanilla. My name has been Pixlriffs. Leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.